Have you ever been sitting around the house and thought to yourself, hey, I would like to join a Bigfoot clan? Well, today we're going to give you the opportunity to get a little bit of information from an insider on just how you can do that. And we're going to cover some other really good stuff about Bigfoot. If you watch to the end of this episode today, I feel like you're going to be highly enlightened and also entertained. Um, Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the stage, Bob Hartman. Oh my God! Hey,
That's okay. That is in my entire life. That is.
I literally had a what is that 70s, 80s flashback. There's senility starting to show up there. I was like, all of a sudden, I got this image of the secretary. So, Barb, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much for having me, Daniel. It's always a pleasure to sit down and talk to you. We just have so much, and we really do have a lot of the same, ideology, I guess you'd say, and beliefs on things.
We do on a few things there. Yeah, quite a few things. You know what? I really love having you on, and I love your perspective. And I want you to just kind of give our folks that may not know a lot about you yet a little bit about that, because you've got an interesting situation.
Yeah, I do. Yeah. Well, I'm Barb Hartman, and I was born and raised in Pennsylvania. And I've always had I guess you'd say, fascination with the subject of, Bigfoot, with that concept. I remember when I was a little girl, my dad, he was a bit fascinated, not as much as, as I've become, but I remember him showing me the Patterson Gimlin film, and then we would watch like some, the older documentaries together. We watched Legend of Boggy Creek, and he had told me a story, because he used to go fishing in up on Lake Ontario in Canada with his friends, and they would have to, park the cars and like hike miles into wherever they were, whatever spot, and they'd carry like a little skiff, so they could get out a little bit in the water when they wanted to. And with salmon fishing. I don't know if I said that, but that's what they were doing. But so he said, because I remember asking him, like, did you ever see one or something like that? Because I guess I wish, he has passed away, away in 97. And I really wish that I could ask him for clarification now. But, but it was something to the effect that, like, oh, yeah, I saw one. And he was just a naked, hairy man. But my dad had such a sarcastic, like, funny sense of humor. I never knew. You never knew when he was joking or not, literally.
Wow.
One time, I skipped school. Believe that or not, in high school. And I come home, and my dad was not typically home, wouldn't have been home when I get home from high school. And so it was kind of odd, but he was dressed in his like work. He was a computer like engineer for IBM. So he's dressed up, his work outfit. And he's like, what are you doing home? And I'm like, I'm coming home from school. And he said, well, now are you now? And I'm like, okay, I skipped school. I'm sorry. He's like, oh, I didn't know. Just
Wow.
I'm like, great. He probably got a call from a teacher. That's what I'm thinking. He got a call from a teacher. And now, my mom's like, I can't handle her. You got to come home and discipline. All this stuff's going through my brain. And then my dad's like, oh, I didn't even know that you skipped school. He's like, don't make a practice of that. So he was cool too. And I was a good student. So, and a good, kid overall. But yeah, so that was he could be intimidating. So I don't know whether he was joking or whether he saw it. So when I think, like, just over the years, I followed all the, the great ones, Dr. John Bindernagel, John Green. I'm now talk about senior moments right now. My mind is Grover Krantz, right? And there's one more who I feel like is one of my favorites. I can't think. Anyway, all of the, like the forefathers of Bigfootery, whatever. And every single documentary I could watch, I just for years and years. When I got married to my husband, it was like, sorry, babe, but like I like to watch this stuff. He's like, well, that's cool. My husband grew up on a farm, and is a country boy, so it's like, well, that's worst things that you could be fascinated with. But I don't know if I really truly believe that they like existed until we moved to Washington State. And as we found out where exactly we were going to be living, it's in Pierce County. And my son said, hey, Mom, do you realize like the county that you're moving to, that has the highest, incidence of encounters and sightings in the whole United States? And I'm like, yes, but still not thinking that. Yeah, they really are. So let's see, we moved here in 2013, but didn't have anything for a few years. Then we moved to the house that we're in now. It's on a rural a peninsula in the middle of the Puget Sound. Tons of acres of forest. They're all around us. We have one set of neighbors, but it's a great area for them to be. And we moved in 2017. In 2018, in April, my husband actually, who is much more of a skeptic than I am, he saw these giant, like 18-inch footprints, bare footprints underneath the house. Now, hunter, tracker, trapper, he knows what prints, he knows about that stuff, and so he said he walked by them for like 3 days and thought, like, I don't want to tell Barb, like I want to tell her, but I don't want to tell her because she's going to freak out, like, and she's going to become completely obsessed with them. And so, and make a huge deal out of it. And so he finally, then told me, and I'm like, oh my gosh, went down and I took some, we took some pictures, took some measurements. Our house sits on a very steep hill. So right. The back of the house goes way out over this area that there's just like some gravel and like kind of just like dirt, under there. And that's where these prints were. But I was thinking, because we hadn't had any other like signs of them. I was thinking maybe it's a situation that they're just like, migrating through. I don't know, just a weird thing. I talked to the neighbors. They have never had anything about anything. They haven't heard anything or seen anything. I talked to some people that live here on the peninsula, and just about everybody has either, they've either seen or they know somebody or they've heard things. And so now one of the guys said, what if maybe it's bear, like, bear prints? And my husband was like, no, definitely not bear prints. So he finds those prints. And then about like within a week, we found that on our beach, there were these humongous boulders that are, now we have a rocky beach. Mm-hmm. And so there's a lot of rocks, but then there's pretty big boulders that are like set way down. Like you cannot get these things out. And there were a couple that were overturned as if, you'd have to have, heavy equipment to do something like that. And yet they were. So that was just another weird thing, but we didn't have any other signs here until March of 2022, when we woke up one morning and one of the the hillsides was kind of just like torn up, and this had happened overnight. Now we have a perimeter of security cameras, so we will see wildlife, but the way that the house is set, the wildlife has to walk by the cameras pretty much, to get to this area, definitely to that area, because we're on a high cliff bank. So, we're waterfront, but we have this really high, like beach tower, so it's about, I think it's like 90 feet. So, they're not coming up that unless they're crawling up this I can't see what was he saying? What is he? Is there a question? I'm sorry. It's okay if you
talking about what did I do there? I thought, no wonder I made it cut away. They were talking about being spiritually attuned to see Bigfoot.
I think now maybe that is the case. All these years later, because essentially, from March 22nd, 2022, it's just been it really ramped up later that year. We found a tree break right outside of our house. We had done some fire cleanup because it was wildfire season. This was in September of that year. And I think that they didn't like maybe what we did, or we cleaned it out too much, because we had a perfect view back into the forest, because we border this beautiful forest. But I don't think that they didn't like that. So there was one tree break, and then a few days later, another tree break. So it's just a perfect X. And then they started, I mean, I would have, I say they, but it started to have ferns stuck in. And I mean, there's no one. I'm looking for my water. Sorry. People, sorry, you guys.
I love you.
If you haven't noticed, I have ADHD, and it's bad. It's bad. So anyway, but and it's just been since that. It's just been constant. Around that time, and I was on some of the Bigfoot groups and stuff, and I had some friends at this point that were researchers and people that had encounters, and I was asking them, and they, one of the people, Mike Scott, actually, he said, you need to really, if you're serious about this, why don't you try to start documenting? So he told me what to do. There's, in those woods where they're at, in that area, right, that borders my house, I would spend just hours. It's such a beautiful, peaceful area. And I would just walk around, and there's a lot of great hiking. And he said, you got to get out there and you got to start documenting, but he said, go in and introduce yourself now. And take your phone if you need to, but don't have it on, and don't be trying to document with photos and with videos right away. Because he said that is you're going to be most successful if you, yeah. That's right. Yeah. Flat rock land. You're going to be most successful if you don't do that. Well, I heard that, and I'm like, I was not ready to see a Bigfoot at all. I'm like, I don't want to see one yet. I'm not ready for that. So I had my phone going on record, and I had it around my neck on a lanyard, this plastic lanyard, which I thought, if they see me with that, it's going to be common, because I always have my phone, listening to something or whatever. So it's not going to be uncommon. They're not going to be suspicious. That was when I didn't realize how intelligent they are, that they know, they know, they're you can't trick them. Don't try to trick them. So I went out. So one day I go out, and I'm like, okay, this is going to be it officially. And I had my camera going, and I was out there about an hour, and then I got grunted at. And after about an hour, and I'm like, oh, I don't know what else that could be. It was such a deep noise that I felt it. Weirdest thing that's, I have to say, one of the weirdest things at that point that had ever happened to me. And so I'm like, okay, I don't know what else it could be. It's not a dog. I don't know. So I started backing up, turned around to go back toward my house. And then I became so dizzy, just disoriented. It was terrible. I'm like, oh my gosh, what's happening to me? I thought I was having a heart attack or a stroke or something. And then as quick as it came on, it left. And I realized, and I know I've told you this before, I realized, oh my gosh, I wasn't even walking toward my house. I was walking toward a ravine. So thank God that because I really think that this was them putting this. I don't know if it's infrasound. I don't know what it is. People say infrasound, zapping. I don't know what it is, but it's real. It is real. So, but I wasn't thinking about that. I actually didn't know anything about that at that point in 2022. When this happened, I'd never even heard of that. So I correct my course. I'm walking back toward my house, and it happened again. But there's this outbuilding we call it like a carport, and I could see the roof of that. And so I just thought, okay, just keep walking toward the carport. Just, you can do it. You can make it. Again, I'm thinking that, my gosh, something's happening. I'm having a stroke or a heart attack. And if I can just make it to the driveway, my family will, they'll find me, because I told them that I was going out for a walk. But as soon as I got to the property line, that feeling like completely left me. And then I was like, oh, wow, whoa, what happened? Then I really, like wake up like, wow. I looked down at my phone, which was dead. So I ran down to the house, and I'm telling my family, I got grunted at, and they're like, yeah, sure. I'm in Washington State. Somebody had asked that. Yeah, I'm in Washington State. And so as I'm telling them what happened, and as I'm charging my phone, and I got that grunt on. I got a recording of that grunt. And so that was so cool. That was cool. So that was my first thing. And ever since then, it's just been, it's just been constant.
Yeah. I remember you talking about a few times talking about your, like, that first time out. So I want to clarify something that you said earlier, like the rocks on the beach. So I forget the name of because I lived in Oregon for about 7-8 years. So I'm really familiar with the coastal area there in like I've been all the way from Mount Shasta and the Redwoods all the way up to as far as like Newport area and so forth through onto the West Coast. So I'm familiar with the beaches there, which, by the way, if you guys have never been, do not go there and be stupid, guys, when I tell you this.
No.
But I will tell you this: the Great Northwest is America's best kept secret.
Yeah.
End of discussion. I'm not going to tell you anything else.
But like you said, take it seriously. You cannot go out. You can't go out here and hike and go out into the water and you have to take it serious, because this is crazy stuff out here. The water's cold. There's crazy currents. Now the Puget Sound that I live on, it's an estuary that is fed by the Salish Sea, which is at the top of Washington State, between Washington State and Canada. So it's seawater. We have tides and everything. It's super, super deep. And it's huge. It's huge. It goes like halfway down the state of Washington. And but I've also, the last year, I've been spending a lot of time out on the Olympic Peninsula, which is loaded with them also. And that's kind of, I've learned a lot in this last year.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. I saw somebody had said about carrying bear spray. If you want to go out and, well, if you're worried about bears or cougars, okay. But like, if you want to go out with and if you really want to try to communicate with Sasquatch, don't do that. Don't. If you carry a weapon, tell them I'm carrying a weapon for my protection, not against you, because you will get nothing, or you may get chased out of the woods.
Right. At best, I would suggest maybe a piece of tourmaline or black onyx, if you're worried about like trying to create a kind of a barrier or shield between you. But yeah, don't be stupid, guys. And I'm going to tell you guys one other thing, very important. If you go into Oregon or you go into Washington, make sure you're mindful of the property there, because there are a lot of green laws there, and you will not enjoy the fines and the other retributions if you litter and tear up stuff there. So go being respectful. I say that to some of the folks that want to be watching my show that go into the Great Smoky Mountain National Park. You know who you are and you know what you do there. Shame on you. Okay, so a little known fact: during the Dust Bowl era, my grandfather migrated with my grandmother to Colville, Washington, in
Okay.
Stevenson County.
Yeah.
His youngest two children were born there. One of them being my dad, and the
Oh,
other one my biological father. I say that, yeah, because I'm on the show. I have other names for that one, but
yeah. Okay.
yeah. Unfortunately, all of them have passed now, so I can't really ask them if um and I don't think any of the other family members would even talk about if they knew. If during the time that they were, because they were here or there until 1930,
Okay.
I
Wow.
would love to know if they ever had any experience. But again, it's something that nobody is still with
Yeah.
us now would even
Yeah.
talk about if they knew.
Yeah.
Um, but I just want to say, too, as a side note, uh, thank you, those of you who are watching. Right now, we have about 17, 18 people watching that I've got
Thank
on my
you.
numbers. If you have not subscribed to the show before, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button and come back and keep watching, because I've got
Yeah.
folks lined up all this next 2 months that are really awesome. So let's talk a minute though about, because here's what here's a concern of mine, Barb, and we've talked
Mhm.
about this off air.
Mhm.
Um, we got people, a lot of novice especially,
Mhm.
who have decided all of a sudden, if they don't believe that Bigfoot is this man-eating monster, all of a sudden they want to make friends with them, which is fine if you know what you're doing. But I have a feeling a lot of these people don't understand. Okay, and there was one issue that you brought up in particular that I feel like their people are probably crossing that boundary
Mhm.
on.
Mhm.
So, you know, you have, and I'm gonna kind of jump fast forward a little bit
Mhm.
on this story here. You have ultimately kind of adopted and been adopted.
That's what it seems like. Yeah, by definitely by my clan here, the clan. Yeah, at
Right.
our house here. Yeah. Mhm.
So I want to touch on that with you because you are one of the kind of parent pioneers that talk about this, and your experiences are phenomenal
Thank you.
uh, with this stuff. So I want to hear from you a little bit about that.
Okay.
How do you go about? Well, I mean,
Yeah.
we know sort of first contact, but what after that? What do we do here?
Well, I've had really good, mentors, and that it makes so much sense. I treat them as if they are, because I do believe that they are people. Um, and I treat them as such, as I would a human neighbor. Um, Now that I know that they're there, and
Mm,
I know that they have babies there, and they showed me babies, and somebody had, Bruce had asked, have I ever heard them call my name? Yes, I have. And actually, on my YouTube channel, there is one that it's very clear that they said that it walks to the camera. Now you can't see it when they come up to the camera. They don't show themselves. I can see them in the, like, kind of you'd say, like, on the periphery, on the very end, the edges,
mm,
but they don't come up and talk. They come and talk into it, but they don't show you themselves. But knowing that they're out there, I there's areas now that I do not go into anymore. That forest that I so much love to walk around in, I don't do that. I go about 20, maybe 30 feet in, and there's an area that I call, like, a gifting area. And we're going to talk about the gifting situation. And that's about as far in as I go. And actually, like, over the last year, I haven't been, because I've been out on the Olympic Peninsula, so I haven't
mm.
even been going in. And on one hand, I don't know for sure. I hope that I haven't, like, damaged my relationship with them here, but I mean, it certainly wasn't like intentional because I had to be out there. But I think the main thing is you have to treat them with respect.
Yes.
And that's really the main thing. You can't trick them. And if you do this, you can't trick them. You can't make them feel threatened whatsoever. On occasion, I will see them sitting. They're about maybe about 60 yards, maybe. And they're literally sitting there and I can see them. But if I would go to, like, if I run toward them, that would be so dumb. Like you can't do that, because I think that is another thing that people do. Like if you see one or you hear one, why would you go rushing up to it? I don't go out and like howl and make calls. I don't bang on stuff. Because I've been told by people like Ron Moorhead or Tom Cantrell, don't do that. You don't know.
Right.
You do not know what that means to them. They are, from what I've been told and what I've seen, they're not territorial, but they're protective of their area. And so if you're doing something that's making them uncomfortable consistently, that's where you get the aggression. And I'm not saying that, there's a rogue once in a while, that we've heard the horror stories, but I think that's few and far between. And it's more so when I talk to somebody, because I've talked to a lot of people, when I talk to somebody and they tell me, oh, I had bad experience, well, what did you do? And unfortunately, you come to the revelation that they did something that was disrespectful to them, because they're not big animals. You can't treat them like a big animal. That's the other thing that I think people
absolutely
trouble.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So I do want to give a shout out to Alabama Cryptid Experience, another person who I've had on the show before. They're in North Alabama. They have a really great opportunity there. I will be back in North Alabama actually next week, hopefully with no car trouble this time. Here's the thing, and I feel like I'm very in line with you on all of this.
Because I want to. Let's talk. Can I just talk? I agree with. I just saw Alabama cryptids. Yeah, they are territorial. If there's babies in there, if there's families, if there's juveniles, just like we would protect our families and our children. That's where people get themselves in trouble consistently. And if I go in there and I'm constantly, I know when they're sleeping. I know what the hours are that they're sleeping. If I go in there and I'm constantly bugging them, trying to get pictures, trying to get videos, that you are not going to be successful. You're not. No. If you do it on their terms, how I get my best evidence is I watch my cameras several nights a week. I listen for them through my security cameras. Like I said, we have a perimeter of cameras. Now they've zapped 2 of the cameras, and I don't know if they did it I don't think they did it to get me to stop, because I think if that was the case, they would no longer be interacting with me. And what's cool now is that they know when the camera turns on. It's an infrared, night vision camera, and within about 2 to 3 minutes of me turning the camera on, you'll hear like an audible, like a clink. And I know that they're there. They're letting me know that they're there. It's like they're, hello, we're here. If I don't hear that, then I just turn off the camera, and there's no sense in me like trying to listen anymore, because I know they're not there and I know I'm not going to hear anything. So that's another cool thing, just the other night, this is how cool, how smart they are. And I don't understand, but they've got to be so intelligent on a spiritual level, whether they can You know, some people think this is crazy, whether they can read your mind. I don't know. But like I said, I've been gone a lot to the Olympic Peninsula. So, and it's been very rainy back here at home. And I hate to try to record on nights when there's rain or when the water's very loud, because it's like dealing with all that ambient noise. And you cannot, another thing you cannot do, you can't just filter that out like you can filter other things. You know, you can't, because you're going to cut into the integrity of their vocals. And I think that's because of the wide range. You know, if you look at them on a spectrogram or spectrograph, the vocals like this, as you cut away at the ambient noise around, you're cutting into that, and you're going to get, it's going to be garbled and, you know, so, because that's one thing that it's so funny. People are like, well, you know, you need to learn how to work sound and, you know, blah, blah, blah on my YouTube. You know, if I get something and like, there's too much ambient noise. Well, I have to tell you, like, I've had professional sound people that are like, I can't do anything else with this. There's nothing I can do. And they don't know why. So, I mean, it's my opinion of the thing. I don't know for sure, but because their sound wave is so large. I mean, that kind of makes, that's the only thing I can think of, you know, but.
Well, and they can also manipulate a lot of things. Mitch, I want to like point out something about the one question about getting a thrill out of scaring us. Honestly, now Barb, maybe you can chime in on this too. My understanding is, depending on what part of the country you're in too, will depend on the culture of the Sasquatch in those areas, because I know in like the South here, in several places, there's different vibes for these guys. Some of them are aggressive, some of them aren't. So I feel like sometimes there are those that do just kind of get a thrill out of messing with people. But I also think, and again, you know, we're talking about potentially a type of person. So just like, you know, people are a bag of jelly beans. Everybody's different.
Right.
We're all different. You know, I read a report from the Washington Peninsula of an attack on a female, and her male counterpart tried to intervene at one point and got attacked in the process. It was a very brutal attack, but that was from one individual, and we don't know. I don't know the whole story behind that. So, you know, even if you have an area where most of them are peaceful, you may have that one, you know, for lack of a better word, nutcase among them that says, "Oh yeah, I think, you know, I'm going to be aggressive." You know, so I think it really varies, not only in area but individually sometimes. And the other thing I want to point out is that personally, for me, I find that if you send out love in their direction, if you radiate and vibe love toward them, they're going to be more receptive to you. And sometimes they may even come around you or try to mind speak. Now, I was in a live tonight where they talked about being touched by them. So
not had that, but definitely, and I think it's just I want to talk about what's on the screen. Is it Mitch? Mike? Anyway, I'm not sure, because is it Mitch? Let's just say it's Mitch. Mitch, I think they from what I found, they have a very they have a sense of humor, and they have a little bit of sarcasm, but it's not mean-spirited. Now, the teenage boys, they're the ones that will be naughty, you know. They love to scare our dog. I don't know what exactly they do, but our dog will some nights like stand at the windows and like cower, and he'll walk over to we have a like big windows because there's nobody, we don't need to have curtains, there's no and so I also feel like we're probably their reality show, but he's very, and it's not every night, but he gets very scared. And so there's some nights I'll go out and say, hey, you guys, please knock it off, stop scaring Asher. And but then there's other times where he's fine, or like he'll be, some days he's afraid to walk out on the deck, but other days he runs out like wagging his tail. He actually has a stuffed Bigfoot toy, and her name is Violet because she's like these violet eyes. And he will, and this could be a complete coincidence, okay? Complete. But he will take that toy out, like specifically pick that one. But again, I don't know. I can't ask Asher, what are you doing? But it's just weird because that's the only toy he takes out. I just, now it's funny, with this thing with Asher, I have I think he's the clan elder. He's the first one. He's the first Sasquatch that I actually heard, that I recorded. He's very scary sounding. He's very I'm sure he's intimidating. I've never seen him. Man, is he like, whoa. But at this point, I love to hear him. He doesn't come around as much anymore. I don't know if there's been a change in his area. I don't know if he's spending time with the other clans because there's other clans in this area. I don't know. But man, do I love when he comes around. And one week, the juvenile Sasquatch here, they're being particularly naughty and scaring Asher to the point like Asher was, our dog, just a mess. And I'm like, okay, this is nonsense. So I went out one night and I was like, knock it off. I'm going to tell your parents. And I'm like, I don't know if you're here, but could you please get your boys under control? Because they're scaring my dog. So I know. But this is what I feel like you have to do. They also, they love to run around on the roof at night too, not over our bed, not the area that's over our bedroom, but the other part of the house. So this particular night though, when I did that, about 2:30 in the morning, I was listening to the cameras and I heard the clan elder, and I call him Mont because I think I had mind speak from him once. It was like, I heard him and then the word M-O-N-T, Mont, flashed in my head. And I'm like, where did that come from? I have no idea. And then I was like, oh, wait, is that your name? And then he grunted again. He then proceeded to it sounded like he was very angry. And there's also a female that I call her, she coos. And so he's grunting and growling and she's cooing. And then she said something and he kind of literally chuckled. And so there was also some high pitched stuff going on. And I don't know if that was the teenage boys because they make all kinds of noises, but we didn't have as much trouble after that. So again, is it a coincidence? I don't know. It can't, it just seems too weird to me to have this many coincidences, so yeah, I don't know. Let me see. Yeah, I think, I don't know if that, I don't think that they would ever hurt. I'd be really upset if they hurt the dog. And I've told them that do not ever hurt my dog or my family or anybody. I'd be really upset about that. They've never they've never, other than Asher. And I think it's just, they just like to mess with him. I think it's hey, we're being naughty. We're teenagers.
Right. And I've heard many, many, many people, a lot of the boots on the ground people, talk about the difference between, the juveniles and their behavior and the adults. And again, guys, we have to think of them as, we are them and they are us. Okay. So yeah, anything and everything that's part of the human experience is part of their experience too. Now, Barb, this is a question I want to get into a little bit. And at some point, we're going to get into the evidence too. Actually, are you on your laptop tonight?
Me? Yes.
Okay. So, because some of the things, there was a couple of things that you had sent earlier this week that I did not download.
Okay.
But if you go to the the little box that says present or invite and click that, there is one spot that says share screen. You can actually share your screen on here and place a couple of those things too. So if there's something that I missed
Yeah.
that you want to show, that would be a good way of doing it.
Yeah.
Let me tell you guys something really interesting that I found about about an observation I made with the Bigfoot community, the Sasquatch community. Their parenting skills are superb to a point, but they also seem to like to give their children freedom just like we do, to explore and become who they are going to be. So yes, they will allow them to act out sometimes to a point, but I also understand that they do. I mean, they have some pretty stringent rules too. Like they'll get very upset if a juvenile leaves tracks behind or whatever, and somebody's cast them,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know, and so forth. Or if they allow their picture to be taken, you know, or whatever. Because sometimes, and I've even had people tell me if a juvenile comes up and starts trying to like mind speak with them, I remember, and I forget who it was, but I remember them specifically telling me a story of they were just a few hundred feet away from a juvenile who was looking directly at them and was mind speaking to them, and it got shut down really quick, and this person heard in the background what sounded like a female voice talking basically samurai chatter to them, and it sounded like there was a confrontation between the two, and the juvenile disappeared. So
Yeah.
so Bruce Brown asked, are the males bigger or are the females bigger in your
The males
state?
are definitely bigger here. Yeah.
Okay.
The females, I can't say, like, okay, what I have seen is I've seen, yeah, I want to answer that about my dreams too, but what I have seen typically is, I see the juveniles more. They are not afraid to show me themselves. One of the first ones I saw, the second one I saw was like a teenage girl, and she had a baby on her hip, and it was like she's crouched down, and I was like, oh my gosh, that's a Sasquatch baby. Like they both had like a grayish kind of skin. The older one had black hair that stuck straight out around her head. It looked like she had a fur like hood on. But this is in the summertime, so, and it definitely wasn't this is not a human. And then the baby, I could not see. The baby was dark, but then I was like, oh, then the baby kind of turned its head, and I'm like, and that's when I was like, oh, and I'm like, oh, that's such a cute baby. Oh. And she stands up and kind of like hitched it up so I could see the baby. And I was like, oh my gosh. She did that again, and I got a photo, not super clear, but that's the cover photo on my YouTube channel. Because I mean, to me, I can see her clearly, but I know what I was seeing. Yeah, they do. I have seen ones with very light hair. I've seen very light skin, dark skin. And what is most interesting is that I notice the ones that are solid, that seem to be like solid black, because they have the shiniest hair too. I mean, it's so shiny. And it's always funny, the ones that I miss that have like lighter skin and lighter hair, because they blend in so well too with the, with this area. Now, let me see. Mitch had asked about, have they been in your dreams? Yes, they have. Not all the time, but I definitely had. I feel like they visited me in my dreams before they started to show me themselves, because I was too afraid. I was very afraid of seeing one, very, very afraid of seeing one and hearing one. Now I'm like, yay, I can't wait to hear them. So now when I said about like, I don't hear the clan elder, I don't know. Like you said, sometimes apparently they have different rules, so the new clan elder may be like, you're not going to be as verbal. Because I'm hearing different vocalizations now than I heard before. The females started, like within the last year, have started to become more vocal. That was one of the things that I had sent to you. Just different things. This very cool thing that happened to me, and I was able to record this. Now, this wasn't even from my this was through my phone. I recorded it. It wasn't my video camera here, or a security camera. One night a couple months ago, they were, I think, messing around again with Asher, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go out and I'm gonna say to them to behave, because I hadn't had to do that in a long time. When I went out, I heard audibly, it sounded like little kids, like on a playground, but in the woods. Now, this is 11 o'clock at night. It's cold. I think it was 35 degrees, and it's, it's pitch black over there. There's no way that little kids were over there, but yeah, I heard that. And then they started to kind of interact with me. Like I was like, oh, I said something to them, and they screamed back. Then they were like, because I think I came back in the house, and then I went back out, because my family was like, what are you doing? Like, what are you doing out there? And I'm like, there's kids out there. And they're like, no, they're not. I'm like, no, come out and listen. But my family, I feel like, is too afraid. They didn't really want to hear it. And well, they heard it, and then, and then they're like, yeah, you're right. That I don't know what else that could be. But when I went back outside, then they were splashing in the water. Like some of them were down in the water, and there was like a big slap on the water. And then I'm like, wow, are you I couldn't see them, but huge. And I'm like, oh, can you do that again? And they did it again. And it was like, yeah, it's really, really cool. So that is one thing. Yeah. If you, go to my channel. Yeah. And make sure you listen for that, because that is wild. I had heard kids once before, and it was one of the nights when I was out yelling at the juveniles to knock it off. and the little stinkers actually threw a pine cone at me.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Like when I turned my back, I'm like, blah, blah, and turn my back to walking back inside, and I get in the back with the pine cone. Now, if they wanted to hurt me, they really could, just same way with, if they wanted to knock the cameras off the pedestals, they could, but they just want to let me know. And it's kind of amazing, as high up as the cameras sit, that they can throw stuff and hit the camera. But there's also nights when I turn on the cameras, and they're just it's like they're just dive bombing the cameras with stuff. It's like coming from all different directions, and that's really cool. But
yeah, that was what I don't know if I actually finished that sentence earlier when I was talking about the stone there on the coast. Is I forget, is balsam or something like that. The dark black volcanic rock there is all of the cliffs and everything are made of it. It's very heavy. It's very dense. When I say it's very heavy, I mean a small piece of it feels like you've got a good chunk of lead in your hand. It's very heavy, very, very dense stuff. And it's it's like almost it's like a deep charcoal color. It's very.
I'm going to ask my basalt. I'm going to ask my daughter, the geologist. Yeah. Does that sound right though?
That sounds closer to it. Yeah. It's all very volcanic there in the Great Northwest. So this stuff is not light at all. I mean, like I said, a small chunk of it is a workout.
Yeah.
So
Um,
when you're talking about boulders, so, and I say that to say this, if they wanted to really hurt you, they could
oh
throw a chunk of that real
yeah.
quickly.
Yeah.
Um, Bruce asked, have you seen any of the Asian face ones?
Um, uh, I, yeah, I guess I would say that because, I had sent you some pictures earlier and I don't think that they're great enough pictures that we would, that you would show on, put on the show. I don't know if people would be able to see them. Remember, we were having an issue with whether they were coming out blurry. I don't. So that's one that I would say. So he's a little guy. He has
Mhm,
dark skin, or he has dark, like a conical head.
mhm.
He's got to be a little guy. He's gray skin, gray face, gray skin. They have more of what, now this is from the Olympic Peninsula, and they have more of, like, I guess you would say, like an Asian type of a face. But I've seen so many different now there's also so him, like, again, bending over. I'll tell you, they love to bend over. They love to just do this.
Mhm.
And the one that I saw that right along our property. Yes. So anyway, so that's, yeah. So I don't know if you guys can see him. Hopefully you can. But anyway, well, let's go back to this. So to the right, do you see that one with the light, like tan skin, light hair
Oh,
up
yeah,
in
yeah,
the,
yeah.
yeah,
I didn't
isn't
even
that
notice
wild?
that
Yes,
earlier.
yeah.
That is super clear to me. Can you
Yeah.
see it in the other? No, it's
Yeah,
not
you
in that.
can. Yep.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
And
Oh,
it's
yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah.
whoa, because it's
Oh,
blending
wow,
in
yeah.
perfectly
I see it now, yeah.
with that whatever like, the weeds, probably dried, like grass and stuff. um I took a video. Yeah, we went on a long hike, about, it's probably not quite a month, about a month ago. And
Mhm.
man, in the first like 20 minutes of that was crazy. After that, I don't know if I got anything, but we saw I saw the Sasquatch, and then my husband didn't see it at the time, and he kept saying, no, that's a stump, that's a stump. But when I
Mm,
showed him, I'm like, no, I'm talking about, like, to the right of the stump. Then when we got back to the house and reviewed, he's like, oh my gosh, I saw it, I wasn't even looking in that area. So they love to do that. They love
mhm.
to um uh and what I was going to say is, the one that I saw the closest, she was about 6 feet away from me, and I'm sure she was a female. She was, I'm going to say, between 6 and 7 feet tall, and she was sitting on her butt and had her legs drawn up and her arms like this, and I could only see her face from the bridge of the nose down. She had very long hair. The first thing that, like, I thought was, like, oh my gosh, like Chewbacca. She looked so much like Chewbacca, except that she had these, like, round circles, white circles, like, were around her eyes, like she was wearing white goggles, but I could see her eyes too. And I don't know what that was. I wish that I knew. But immediately when I saw her, we locked eyes. She immediately, like, put her head down. So if I would not
Mhm.
have seen her, if that's what I would have seen, I probably wouldn't even have seen her. I don't know if I would have, because she blended in. She had, like, a kind of like an auburn brown, uh, very different colors that are just so common here. Yeah, so I don't know if I would have seen her, but and she was alongside of our house. So yeah, I've seen a lot here, but man, on the Olympic Peninsula in the last year, it's just loaded with them out there. Now, that was a situation that where I learned a lot this past year, because I was going into that like, oh, hey, I'm going to interact with them like I do with the Sasquatch at my house. No, that didn't work out well.
Oops.
I got again, I wish I knew this thing with infrasound. I wish I knew how that worked. But I got hit with that really
Mhm.
bad a few times. And just, like, really creepy, heavy feelings, and almost like like a psychic shove. That's the only way that I can describe, like get out. And then I'm like, see, I need to listen to the cues though. Cause again, I went in there like gangbusters, like, hi, I'm Barb, and I love Sasquatch and hello, everyone. So then I'm like, this is what I'm doing wrong. I'm not, I have to introduce myself to them.
Yeah.
So I kind of went back to the beginning and I started to lay like flowers and fruit, and like vegetables, gifts though, not, I'm not feeding you. I'm just giving you gifts. And we were talking about that right before the show, right? Like a gift
Right.
would be a gift. It's not, you're not trying to keep them alive. I mean, you can't, a couple of pieces of fruit is, that's, that's not gonna, but
Yeah.
so if you're gonna do that, I would suggest that. It's like, hi, I'm coming into your home, because that's what I was doing. I'm coming into their home and I needed to respect that. And that's, I wasn't doing that. And after that, it did get big. It became, it got better, but but I still had this like, still had some resistance on some of the trails, and I had to listen to that if I felt that energy. But that's, the Olympic Peninsula is one of the weirdest places. Like,
Yes.
all kinds of weird energy. I don't think it was all. I know it wasn't all Sasquatch. Like magical. You want to talk about a magical journey? Woo,
Right.
just
Right.
weird stuff. And we'll be walking. My husband is usually he's just about always with me out there, because I was, I had some bad experiences with that. And it wasn't that they ever physically hurt me. It was more that being hit with that energy that would then you go back to the house and like I'm debilitated. So I was like, I'm like, okay, I can't keep going out by myself. But it's funny, so we're walking in an area and I'm like, babe, don't you feel that? And he's like, I don't feel anything. I'm like, how can you not, like, do you not feel this? And, and that's a cool thing, but it's also not like a cool thing, because I'm like, can't I just enjoy my hike?
Right. Right. You know what? And I now know that the screen name is for Michigan Sandman.
Okay.
So
Okay.
he asked, is Bigfoot and aliens connected?
I have no idea. I don't know. I have no idea.
The community is very divided on this, because
Yeah.
there's some people that say it's all connected.
Uh-huh.
I will say this, there is a lot of documentation of sightings of UAPs, or UFOs, as some of us still call them, in the same areas, and sometimes at the same time. Now, is this coincidence? I don't know. I would suggest, if you're interested in this topic, to check out, do some research on high strangeness areas, because this is a very interesting phenomena. And in either next week or coming up very soon, Trey Hudson will be on to talk about some high strangeness. So you guys look for the upcoming shows to find out when he's going to be on. But those are all listed right now, except for the two that I booked tonight. Side note.
I can tell you that my daughter, our youngest daughter, she's the only child. We have 4 kids, and she's the only one that has lived here with us in this house, consistently. And when we were here about a year, one morning she told me that she's like, I feel like I was visited by aliens and maybe have been abducted, or I was abducted. And I'm like, oh my gosh, what? Because she's a kid that's very scared of this stuff. Like she's a kid, she's 27. She doesn't like to talk about it. She doesn't like to hear about it. She just doesn't. She's just scared of all of it. And I was like, what's going on? And she said, well, Mom, like I would lay in my bed at night, and over the Puget Sound, there are lights, but there's a lot of aircraft light too, because we live in a flight path of the Seattle International Airport. But she goes, these, she goes, so I don't know. And I felt like I was seeing lights that were like maybe making formations. And she's like, I don't know. And then she said one night she looked over toward her closet and that there were two, she said they were like gray aliens, very tall and skinny, and they like peeked out at her. And then she just kind of shut her eyes and like, hid, and she doesn't know what else happened. But she won't talk about it. She's just still very scared to talk about it. However, she gets stopped all the time. Like, TSA always has to warn her, like there's something, we're going into like an amusement park, and they're pulling her aside and what are you, what's going on. And she had some weird like bruises, but yeah, it's not something that she likes to talk about. Now, hi, Sunny. I don't know. Are they just everywhere together, or is there a connection? I don't know. I have no idea.
Yeah, there's a lot of, and that's the other thing I want to ask you. I'm trying to also kind of monitor where we are with the chat because I'm a little bit behind. But
yeah,
one of the things I want to ask you too is what's your thought on the whole Nephilim connection?
I personally don't think that they're Nephilim. I think that they are more like ancient humans.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that they're Nephilim. Obviously, I believe, it's what the Bible tells us, but I don't think, and I do feel like sometimes that maybe these ancient humans maybe they're divine beings. I don't know, because I don't know how they do the things that they do. I know. Yeah.
Right.
No humans.
Honestly,
Yeah.
the only reference I have biblically to anything remotely like a Sasquatch would be Esau.
Mm-hmm. I have heard that, and that is a great theory, and that definitely could be. It kind of makes sense. And I've seen some that are bright red.
Mm-hmm.
So, and it could be, and covered in hair, could be. No, Michigan salmon, that's great. This is fine. Ask away.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, he said when they blend in with the environment, are they really the bush that has I don't know too, because I have experienced that. Like, and it's not pareidoia, because that's something. Okay, like if I'm gonna look at a bush and I'm gonna see a face, like I'm gonna always see that face. This is something that would like come and go. Not so much a bush, but like there's this one stump, for instance, that out on the Olympic Peninsula, I can see it from our house out there, and that thing looks so much like a Sasquatch. Now, I don't think that it is a Sasquatch. I think that does the Sasquatch somehow, I don't know, I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
Right.
Go into like become the thing, or the tree stump, or was it originally like a Sasquatch, and then the Sasquatch like left there? Because man, sometimes you can see like a face, and I can even feel like I can see it moving at times, but then it's not. But then it's like, no, that's a stump. And so I don't know. Yeah, these are the things that I don't know. It really is. They really are like chameleons. And this particular, there's a lot of little ones in this, and I think that, like, as we're looking at why they do it, look right above that, there's a face. I don't know if that is the face of a Sasquatch, because this is a screenshot from a video. I don't know if that's one peeking out or not. I'm not sure. But there looks like there's all kinds of faces behind there. And I don't know is that pareidoia? I don't know. But
what's real strange about this, Barb, is I'm echoing a little bit. If you look at it a certain way, it almost looks like they're trying to form the shape of a snake or something.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
You're right. You're right.
right.
They do this thing too that not like I call well, I don't somebody had told me it's like the totem effect. You know,
Hmm.
they'll like pile on. And I think you and I were you said sent me a picture, right?
I did send you a picture
Yeah.
from the Great Smoky Mountain
Mhm.
National Park. Yeah.
And I right away I said, because this is what I've been taught to do, like okay, look at the picture. What is your first impression? All right.
Mhm.
Make that impression, but then go away. If you need a day, whatever, come back to it. And you may see something of, you might be able to like see through the illusion. And I think that was definitely with that picture is what happened with that. Now, this is also like I don't know, it's not that clear as it is on uh so where the wait, are they seeing the same thing as we are? Like the live, I don't know if they're seeing that though, the live box, you know, that count with the count. But just to the right of that, there is a brown face of a Sasquatch.
Right. Right.
And
Yeah.
then there's a leg right in the area again of why they, which is weird, but like that there's a leg, but it's blocked. But this is something I found these last night and I was like, oh, I'm gonna send them to Daniel because I was revisiting this Sasquatch that we had, that we had seen, that my husband, like I said, I saw him stand up and crouched. Oh, no, I saw him standing and crouch. I didn't see him stand, and then I thought that I saw his head pop back up and I saw him top
Jeez.
like to the side. And I definitely can see it on, I could see it on the video, but
Mhm.
they have to emit some kind of an energy because, and like if you try to photograph them, it's like
Mhm.
you see them clear. It's like, oh my gosh, this is so great. And then all of a sudden it'll be like almost like the wavering. And
Right. Right.
so,
Yeah, I feel like they definitely send out an energy too that's can they manipulate things very much. Um what's the story with the red glowing eyes? That was another question from
I have heard
uh,
that. I've never seen red glowing eyes. I've not ever seen that.
not from the Sasquatch.
I've seen, no,
I
I've not. My daughter, again, the same, she saw, and this would have been about 2 years before this was probably in 2020 or maybe at the end of like 2019. She was in college and she was working as a server. So like a late nights. So she came home late one night and she's like, Mom, I don't know what is out there, but it's like looking at me and blinking at me. And I'm like, what are you talking about? And she said it looked like two big blue, like spotlights kind of, but they were more, not like the slits of eyes, but not like this, like just bigger. Right. And two of them, and she said they were very large, like she was like, are people shining like a spotlight? I don't know, like two spotlights, and they were bright blue. That was like what she described, like your background, that blue in the middle. She said that's what it was. And then she was like, what in the world is that? And then she saw it like blink at her. So these big eyes just like blinked. And then that freaked her out and she came in and she doesn't like to talk about that, but there was, I did like an interview on one time. I haven't released that though, because I'm like, when you're comfortable, let me know when you want me to release that, because it just freaks her out so much. Let's see. Yeah, I don't know. I haven't seen. Now I do have to say that we have. I don't know if they're hybrids, but I have seen, what you'd say like dog men around here, and they're in some pictures with the Sasquatch, and particularly like they seem to come out at night. They like to hang out in the trees because I can see them on one of the cameras out front, just kind of hanging off the trees, and they look like big black dogs. But I had some mind speak once that told me we're not dog men, we're like wolf dog people. We're
Right.
different. So And whatever it is, like I've never had anything, again, I've never had anything aggressive at all happen. So,
you know, guys, if you would like for me to do an episode, a solo episode on some of my research on the dogmen, leave me a comment below, and I'll do that. Miss Sunny, you know what? Actually, we were talking about the juveniles a little bit ago, and if you go back and check out that part of the video later, you'll hear, because Barb has had some very interesting experiences.
Yeah, and Sunny knows. Yeah, she's great. She watches all my stuff and shares it, which I really appreciate that. She's amazing.
Sunny is very amazing. Pam
Yeah.
is. We have I have
Yes.
so many
Yes.
amazing people
Yes, you
that
do.
watch the show.
Pamela's amazing. Yeah.
It's like, shout out to all of you guys. I think I try to do that every once in a while, but my viewers have increasingly become more and more and more amazing. And you know what, Michigan Sandman, I just want to say thank you too. Big shout out to you for some of the questions you're asking.
Yeah.
That's really important, because honestly, sometimes your questions can be even better than some of the ones I wanted to ask. So
that's great. Great questions. I don't know. He says, what the heck created all these cryptids? I don't know. I think God. I mean, I believe in God. I do. It's strange. Like, you'll have something that, like, let's say with the dog man thing, you know, what I was just talking about, and then you're shaking, you're going, yep, like, you know what I'm saying. And it's like, whoa, you didn't tell me that. That's like a thought was placed in my head. And then you start to talk to people. They're like, yeah, we know this thing. It's just, let's see. Do I believe they can shapeshift? I think that they can. I can't say that I've seen that, like, personally, but I've seen, like, deer out that, and I caught this on my camera, that they will almost like disappear. Not like poof, then they're gone. They'll like run up through, and then they leave like an energy trail, which is not what deer aren't going to do that. Like, deer on a security, you know what I mean? They're deer. Get them all the time. But these, it looks different. It's more of like an energy signature that's following them. And then they kind of just like pixelate away. I don't know if that's, you know, is that not a deer? Is it a Sasquatch? I don't know for sure. And
right.
yeah.
And another shout out to Bruce Brown, dude. You are really getting some good questions out there tonight. Thank you.
And yes, Bruce, you do. Please, please go and listen to my my videos. Particularly when I'm talking about, like, you know, the Sasquatch. Most of my videos are audio, and so there's some wild stuff that it's just, just amazing. And I've definitely heard loud howls. And
honestly, like some of it, I need to go back and just, I want to take off for a personal day sometime soon, and from work, and just spend that day going through some of the videos that I've missed on several of the channels lately, because between this and my job, my paid job, I stay busy, and I travel. So, like, travel for work. So it is a lot. Honestly, guys, do check out her, the YouTube, because there are some videos on there. Sometimes you have to I have to go back and listen a couple of times, sometimes, to hear exactly what, because I have crappy hearing in one ear. So, I don't always pick up all sounds.
I think men can hear, like, the tones, some of the tones, because I'll say, you know, to my husband, it's so frustrating. I'm like, do you hear that? He's like, no, I hear like clicks. And I'm like, no, you know, and then I play it for like my friend, one of my girlfriends, or, you know, well, not for my daughter. I wish I could. She's like, no, I don't want to hear any of that. But, you know, and they'll hear it. So, did you get the video that I sent you? Can you play that with what is I believe is a female Sasquatch. Did you get that one? In the stuff that I
Don't
sent you?
have that one download on this computer. Let me see.
don't
I know, like, if you
present it. Yeah, I don't know if it's on my, I don't know if I have it on my computer, because that's something. But you know what? I have it on my I have it on my phone. I know I can play it, you know, I'll just play it through my phone. And when I heard this, I had no idea what exactly this was. And I said to my husband, like, what, like, do you have any idea? He's like, no, I have no idea what this is. Shortly after I released it, I had a friend, JJ Messenger, that said, Barb, I have an almost identical recording of what I believe is a female Sasquatch in a very active area. And then just about 2 months ago, a gentleman, Martin Furman, had contacted me, and he said, Barb, and now JJ is, so I'm in Washington State. JJ is in Connecticut. And Martin Furman, he had recorded something that was almost identical, really even more identical than like JJ's. And that was in central New Hampshire. And, you know, it's like, it's wild. Let me find it. In my, let's see. Okay. Where is it? Because I know, I know I sent it to you. Okay. And I think you'll be able to hear it, because she comes really close to the camera. Well, might not want me to play it. No, come on now. Come on now. This is what they'll do. Come on, come on.
Trying to, oops, did I close out? I did close out. Crap.
Let me, come on now. You can come on, because I've played it before. It's all over YouTube. Come on, lady. I'm trying to find a different format. Let
me see.
Oh my goodness. Where did I send that to you from? My drive, maybe?
I know, because I was able to find a couple of things on.
All right, I'm gonna.
But I wasn't able to find that one on Facebook.
This is the one. Now there's high-pitched yells. I don't know if it's and I replay it again. This is a replay. Yeah, so that was, and she came up close, close to the camera. That was wild.
I wish I could find that one on and actually download it, but I'm having problems with Facebook. But there's, let me see. Did it pull up the one? It did pull up the one video file here.
Oh, this is the crawling Sasquatch. Yeah. I got him out on the Olympic Peninsula, and I didn't see him at the time, and so this is scrubbing back and forth, but he was like right at the edge. And it's like, oh my gosh, like he's trying to avoid me.
Yeah, it's almost like he was like, oops, I just got caught.
Yeah. But it's, yeah, this is a situation like I did not see him. Not at all. It's so wild. He's just solid black.
The photo, and I don't have this on my computer or on anything else that's going to make it show it well, but the photo that I sent you from the Appalachian Trail.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Talk about was not expecting it. I was just shooting my camera up that direction to get a picture of how dense the forest is up there in that at that elevation, because it's literally just like it's they're stacked so that it's very thick, it's hard to see. So, and on the other side, it starts going like sloping downhill, and there are areas that's not as thick. It's really weird. So I was trying to show the difference between the two, and boom, there it was all of a sudden. I started zooming in on them just out of curiosity. And sure enough, there was that big um presentation right there.
Yes.
There was one other one that I was able to get off an image that I was able to get off of if I can find it. Okay. This one is the one structure that you sent me a picture of, which looks like
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
it looks
Yeah.
like somebody was cutting wood, and then
Yeah.
these guys decided, "Hey, this
Yes.
is convenient. I'm just gonna use what they did to do
Yep.
something with."
Yeah. So this is on the Olympic Peninsula, and what it is that the community that we bought a house and or built a little house, and this is like a beach community, and for short term, like some people live there full time, but like short term rentals, and that's what we're treating ours as. But we lived in it for a year. I mean, we both loved it so much, and it was so anyway. So but we just put that into the rental market, but so this is in that area. And what they've done is they have like developed this land, because this was like old growth forest, that was raised, and then it's replanted and raised, replanted, and they did it about like 4 times, and the forest floor is just ruined. So it borders Department of Natural Resources of Washington State. It borders that territory. So the cool thing is that looking in on this, like I can't walk in there because it's Department of Natural Resources, and there's like, no trespassing signs everywhere. And that is one of the things that the community says, like, do not go onto that land. You will be prosecuted. They have cameras and everything. And I think what they've done, just like you said, is they've built these amazing structures and formations and these logs are huge. I mean, and that's something, if you go to my YouTube, I have it on there, and massive. This thing is probably like maybe 10, 15 feet high, and then like 20 feet wide. I mean, massive. And this isn't something, Oh, okay. Okay. You have to just let go. So, sorry. So, I think that, like you said, I think what they're doing is they're using they're resourceful. They're like, hey, here's these things laying around. We're going to do what we do with them. Right. Because I mean, if I was, like I'm thinking, and my husband's like, well, maybe the workers did this. I'm like, babe, I would be really upset if I'm paying these guys to, to cut this stuff, because mostly it's like what they'll do is they'll stack it and then they'll take it away. I'm going to be really mad if my guys are like, hey, let's just build these intricate, things. And this is just an example. It's so wild. It was, and also there's a lot of them that are like deep back in, you can see them from the trail, but you can't, again, you can't access it. So it's like, they're taking this stuff back in and doing, making just big, like the kind of the teepee, formations, or they seem to make like almost like a pyramid. But then it'll have like a thing sticking out. And I don't know if that's like a power thing. I'm not sure. But yeah.
So, that's what there's a couple of folders at least in the Facebook group for for magical. I almost forgot the name of my podcast.
That's so
Talk
funny.
about senile. Um, for Magical Journey podcast on Facebook, there's a couple of folders already in there that have several structures. Barb, if you don't mind, I want to put the things that you've sent to me into a
Sure,
folder on that group too. And
absolutely. Huh?
I believe, I'm not sure, but I believe you guys can also add to that folder if you want to. So
Sure.
if not, just let me know and send the stuff that you want added and I can add it. The idea is, and I have stuff in that group that's free stuff, but there's also the subscriber group. I don't, anybody that's the folks that are coming on the podcast, I always have their folders in the free group. But I do want you guys to know that the subscriber group is only $1.99 a month. Come on. And and it's cheap. I'm a cheap person, okay?
Yeah.
But I do have several PDFs and so forth in there. And I'm working on starting to do lives for that group. So don't forget to check that out. And again, you know, test it for a month or two. If it's not your thing, you can unsubscribe from it. But I really appreciate that because it helps me I'm not monetized on a whole lot of things right now. Okay. So so it
People
does
don't
help.
realize, I mean, some people do, but they don't realize the amount of work that we put into this. It's just a labor of, love. We don't get money. Maybe eventually we will, maybe we won't, but
Right.
most of us aren't monetized. And I really have to, you and I talked about, like, I had a podcast, and I, like, once in a while I'll do, but it takes so much time. And like, personally, I have just have too much research and, like, evidence to review. It's, so
Oh,
it
we're
really,
not even gonna talk about it. You know what?
mm,
I gotta tell you, I have 2 full-time jobs that are actually, like, more like 4 full-time jobs for
oh
somebody. Because
gosh.
I just got home this morning from being in North Alabama last week. I'm going back to North Alabama, which is about a 2.5-hour drive for me one way, for next week. And then after that, I'm gonna be spending some time in East Tennessee, which is a 3.5-hour drive, um, depending on where I'm at, somewhere between 3.5 to 4 hours, because we do all of, like, the Knoxville area, Seymour,
Yeah.
um, Sevierville, Pigeon Forge, all of those areas. So we do a lot of stuff. So I'm traveling for work. It's travel time. I'm there 10-hour day, 4 days a week. And then when I'm not at work and I'm not crashed out in my bed, which happens quite a bit lately, um, I'm either doing research, I'm reading. I've got so many books. I've got to finish Trey's book his second book before next week. Because I think he's on up. Um, I have tons of research going on. There's more. I mean, trying to get guests on here. Right now my lineup is fabulous for the next few weeks. Barb, you have been fabulous tonight, as usual. I need to get you on more often because
Hey,
here's the thing.
anytime. Yeah. Because
Because here's the
I love to
thing.
talk to
You
you.
you have so much information, and there's so many things happening around you at I wanna say really an incredible pace sometimes, depending on, you
Yeah.
know,
Because it's overwhelming. That's,
it
I
does.
always say I'm very blessed, but sometimes I do, like, lately I've been just kind of taking a break. My daughter's ready to, the one that I was saying that was abducted, and, um, she's going to have a baby any day now. So, and she and her husband live with us, which is awesome. And so, the baby's going to be right here. It's our sixth grandchild, our second grandson. But anyway, all of them are a blessing. So I've been trying to not focus so much on Bigfoot lately, but it is, because it's overwhelming, but it's also just the coolest. Like, talk about a magical journey. It really,
Right,
really
right.
is. Yeah, I did want to say, because Uncivil Engineer has been saying, like, so many good comments, and I feel like we haven't, like, address those, and they're great stuff. Yeah.
Right. Uncivil Engineer, I really appreciate you as well. I'm trying to become more interactive with the audience.
That's hard though.
It really depends on, honestly, it depends on the speaker. With Barb, it's a lot easier to like focus on you guys and her at the same time. We just vibe like that.
Right. Flat Rock, the whole thing is, yeah, it's full of critters.
You know, Flat Rock, you're another one that's been really great tonight. All of you guys have been amazing. This has been an amazing show. I'm going to have to go back and rewatch it actually, which is something I've been really bad about doing, is not rewatching shows lately. But again,
yeah,
guys, I'm just going to tell you guys, give you a heads up. Not only am I doing the lives every week, which right now is pretty much most of what you guys are seeing, but I've also got a couple of series pre-records that I'm trying to work on, a book that I'm trying to write, which is coming along slower than Christmas. Okay. There's just a lot going on at once, and I have the reach out through a lot of social medias. So if you, any social platform that you're on right now, X, TikTok, Clapper, you name it, Spotify, I'm on all those. I'm on everything. I'm like Barbie and Hello Kitty. I'm everywhere. So just look for Magical Journey Podcast, Between Worlds, and you'll find me. Barb, I really gotta I need to go out and just book you for either June or July coming up again to just kind of go over some more stuff, because there's some things that we talked about tonight that I kind of want to brush up on a little bit and go back and kind of just just theorize on a little bit on an episode, because there's some of the theories that people have that we touched on tonight, like the Nephilim thing. You know, what are there's some stuff about the whole you know, are they natural? Are they woo? Are they from here? Are they from there? What are they and who are they? Kind of things that I want to dig a little deeper in with you, because we both come from a similar perspective on some things. Honestly, I'm doing some research right now, trying to, among other researches, on the Genesis chapter 6 theory. There's two different schools of thought that I'm working on with that. You know, there's the descendants of Cain and descendants of the Nephilim. That's kind of a shameless plug for you guys to that like to do some research, to check out both of those if you really want to deep dive into a rabbit hole that will never end.
Yeah.
Also, I really want to encourage you guys to check out No Drama Bigfoot on Facebook.
I tried to make a comment and it flagged me. This is what I said in my comment. Please feel free to comment on any of my videos with questions and comments. I love to interact. And then it flagged it and said, this comment has failed to meet the qualifications to post on Magical Journey Podcast.
Rude.
Yeah, I know. Like, what? Anyway,
I don't know what that means.
You know, I mean, I've had this come up on, when I'm doing podcast, not like when I'm doing, when I'm doing them as well. It's like, what are you talking about, YouTube? Anyway, whatever. So I did want people to know that. Please, I love to interact. I love questions. I don't mind comments, because I don't know, right? We don't know this stuff. I don't know.
Right. Right.
But what you were saying, like with going into, I'm sorry, I interrupted again. Like going to these different, into these different theories, and I don't think that they're, like some people will say, I don't think that they're aliens, like all alien. I don't think that they're demons, because people said, oh, we'll say, you don't know what you're messing with. I unfortunately had some dealings with things that were demonic in my life, and they're not that. So.
Right. That tends to be, and guys, before you start trying to come at me sideways when I say this, remember, I live in the South and I spent a lot of years in the South. So when I say this, remember that tends to come from a lot of the southern community here. There's a whole lot, and shout out to Tony Merkel. I love him. He's a great guy and I love his podcast. But again, there's a lot of conversation on his show about the Nephilim connection and all that. If you really want to get an intense study into that part of it, Tony Merkel's a great resource for that. And by all means, if you comment, let him know that I sent you there, because I need for him to know eventually that I exist, because I've been trying to email him. Again, also, JJ Jones. I'm forgetting names all of a sudden. Again.
Male, female?
Female, yes.
Jessica Jones.
Jessica Jones. Oh my God.
Yeah.
I've started calling her JJ thanks to Harley.
Yeah, it's that, but like, what is the
right?
Cryptid Huntress. Cryptid Huntress.
Because Harley Owens calls her JJ every once in a while. Now I pick that habit up.
Yeah.
So Jessica Jones is another good source sometimes for when she gets into it. She talks about the different things with that being Nephilim and so forth. Honestly, I'm gonna tell you guys, like, not so much Bigfoot, but Dogman. I believe they're different. I believe it's possible maybe with Bigfoot, but I believe with the Dogman thing, I believe there's at least 3 different types of Dogmen that we're talking about.
Yes.
There are the natural ones, which are more like the werewolfy, friends of the Sasquatch. There's another type that I believe are probably connected to ultra dimensional, the John Keel thing. Terrestrial, ultra terrestrial, that's the term. And then there's a type that I believe are a hybrid experiment.
Yes. Weaponized,
yes. And I believe that is probably the one that Martin Grove encountered. Possibly.
I've actually seen documentation, from, I can't say obviously, but I've seen documentation, from the GOV that confirmed that it is a thing. That's a real thing,
Right. And I haven't seen that documentation, but I will tell you guys that through research and other means that I'm not going to go into on here, that's my understanding too, that at least with the Dogmen, that's the 3 different categories that I know of right now.
I'd love to hear what Elder Medicine Bear Claw says about that, because I think that there's 4 also, and I want I'd like to
right. I do have Elder Medicine Bear Claw actually scheduled her tonight for an upcoming episode in June.
Okay.
Yes, I'm booking June shows already.
Wow.
We are actually a little over the hour and 30-minute mark. And I know you have family that you need to get to at some point tonight. I really appreciate and absolutely love when you come on. We're going to have to book for either June or July coming up to talk some more.
Sounds good.
And eventually I want to get a panel of our cryptid huntresses on here. Hopefully I can get Jessica Jones to join us that night. Oh my God.
I have a couple, and I have a couple of women, friend researchers that really get some fantastic. Man.
We can do that. We can bring those ladies on and we'll talk about it, because I feel like there's a lot of untouched stuff on here, and I know my channel tends to kind of come and go when it comes to the cryptid thing, but I think we're at a point because of the Ohio thing and
Mhm.
some other stuff that's been going on that I need to focus a little more on the cryptids at times right now. So you guys watch for that. Again, Barb, do you have anything you would like to leave with us tonight?
Well, I said about my YouTube channel, because I do want people, and I really want people to comment, because I like
Yes.
the interaction, because I
Yes.
feel, I guess this is what I would have to say is, just watch, keep everything an open mind, because if you try to put them in this like box of what you think that they are, you're really like shortchanging yourself. Um, and if you are out and you think always be respectful. And this is if you want to see them, if you want it, if you are a researcher and you're like, wow, try to concentrate on areas that are active. I know people that, there's guys that'll go like miles in different areas and they're like, I don't know, we don't get anything. Like I think you're just making it all up, but you have to concentrate on,
Mhm.
you have to build relationships.
Yes.
Yeah.
That is so important. That is so important. And you honestly, Barb, I just want to throw this out there because we're friends on Facebook. I see your post all the time. Barb has some really great, like all you have to do is look at the photographs are pictures are worth 1,000 words. Like Barb has some amazing photographs that will just teach you volumes on relationship and family, just by looking at the photos, especially the grandkid. I love the grandkid photos.
Oh, yeah.
You beam in those. You
Oh.
beam.
And now, and it's like now you have to be careful. My kids were like, they don't want me to post, photos of
Right.
grandkids because of the creeps in this world,
Oh my,
and I'm like, oh, but I gotta, yeah, because I
you
love, yeah.
know,
I'm
yeah,
a mom and a
exactly.
grandma, Grammy. That's my first priority always.
Absolutely, absolutely. Again, I so appreciate you coming on
Thank you.
tonight and
I love being here.
all the things that you do.
Thank
And
you.
we will definitely make
Thank you.
that update
Yeah,
schedule coming up. Right.
sounds great. Sounds
Awesome.
great. Thank you for having me. It's always a pleasure. I'm honored. Thank you.
Is the honor is actually all mine. I love it.
Thank you.
Right. All right. I will get back with you then in the next couple of days on actually maybe tonight I'm booking the show again.
And thank you everybody in the chat too, right? That was awesome. Great. Great
Thank
stuff.
you. You have a great night.
Thanks. Good night.
Right. I'm going to close this out here. Okay. All right, guys. I got to tell you, as always, I am absolutely like, I'm on cloud nine when it comes to talking with Barb, just does that for me. Her stories, her experiences, the wisdom that she brings to the table is just amazing. Uh, do go on the channel page and look at the upcoming shows. I'm going to try to go ahead and get the prep work done for the shows that I booked today and get that up there too. So they'll be on the upcoming list. It should be on the channel page on YouTube. Also, thank you guys. I appreciate each and every one of you that came on tonight. We hit another record of viewers tonight. I think I don't think we've hit the 25 mark until tonight. I could be wrong. Maybe last week with Anna, maybe we got to 25, 26 last week. You guys did an amazing job on asking questions. You kept me busy. I love it. You also asked so many good questions that I actually bypassed a lot of the questions I was going to ask because they weren't quite as good, I thought. So thank you again for that. I love that we get to interact on here a little better now. I'm learning, guys. It's still almost 2 years in, and it's a learning process. Yes. And don't forget to like, subscribe, comment. Comments are very important on tonight's show on your way out. And may your journey always be magical.
I've waited for so long to see when you come back to me. Through the wars and battles that were lost, we're born again, it's you and me. The rest is history. Past lives. Past lives. Did we dance together on different floors in 1500 or 1504? We must have been lovers. We must have been something in our past lives.